And after 30 years of letting the ultra-rich play with their children, dear, Miami came out yesterday to say, no way. Not today. We need a woman in charge of our city, dear. Somebody in the blue. We tried to tell you. The blue wave, the blue storm, the hurricane, the typhoon, the cyclone. It's here, dear.
So, cue Mariah the scientist, because America is definitely burning blue. Georgia done flipped its 121st House district to blue.
Their next mayor. Miami voters have not elected a Democrat to be their mayor for nearly 30 years. That is until tonight.
Political earthquake in Florida as Democrats swung every single election tonight far to the left.
MAGA kept treating Florida like a retirement home for racists. While Miami's median rent hit $3,400, but Eileen Higgins, she ran on affordability, immigrant dignity, and actually showing up for seniors, not conspiracy theories. Economically, this isn't a blue wave. It's a market correction. When your party calls housing insecurity a hoax, don't be shocked when voters trade your red hat for a blue lease agreement.
There are some tea leaves on the Democratic side, albeit small, and we don't know. We've learned not to get ahead of ourselves and prognosticate on terms of what might happen. But Democrat Eileen Higgins has won the closely watched Miami mayoral race. Higgins made history, becoming the first woman ever to lead the city. Her victory also marks the first time a Democrat has won the Miami mayoral race in nearly 30 years. Democrats also claimed to win last night in Georgia, where their candidate flipped a statehouse seat in a red-leaning district. This victory would be a major upset in a district President Trump won last year by 12 points. Mark, what are you hearing about these specific elections?
I think when you put everything in context, it was a good night for Democrats, and it's one of those things, certainly in Florida, where Republicans said this is sort of a gut check time. Yes, it's true, all of these elections are sort of unique in their own way, but there's a general pattern, whether it's in Florida, whether it's in Georgia, or whether it was in Tennessee with the congressional race recently, is that when Republicans are winning in very strong Trump seats, they're not winning by as much. And when there are purple seats, Democrats are winning them. The city of Miami is an interesting sort of jurisdiction, because even though people associate the city of Miami with Miami-Dade County more broadly, this is sort of a blue-performing city in major elections. But in mayoral elections and local elections and odd-year elections, Republicans have dominated. That ended last night, and it ended majorly and in a big way. That got a lot of people's attention.
Now, today, voters in the city of Miami went to the polls to elect their next mayor. Miami voters have not elected a Democrat to be their mayor for nearly 30 years. That is until tonight, when just as Donald Trump was giving that speech and all over the place in Pennsylvania, Democrat Eileen Higgins was projected to win the race for Miami mayor over her Trump-endorsed Republican opponent. See, voters have not been fooled by Trump's repeated attempts to gaslight them. And Democrats in cities and states across the country are taking up the mantle of affordability and winning elections, even in unlikely places.
I really am profoundly honored to stand here today as your next mayor. We will lead a city that belongs to everyone. A city where seniors can stay, young people can build a future, immigrants feel welcomed and respected.
There was a political earthquake in Florida as Democrats swung every single election tonight far to the left. You had winning in the city of Miami, flipping the mayoral race for the first time in 30 years. A Democrat beat the Republican. That race shifted from plus 70 last year for Republicans last election to plus about 19 this election for the Democrat, a nearly 90-point swing. In a House race in Palm Beach County, you had a swing of 18 points to the left.
Let's talk about what actually moves voters. Pocketbook pain. Trump's America First economy did three things. 1. Spiked grocery prices with reckless tariffs. 2. Slashed rural healthcare access. 3. Gave billionaires a $2 trillion tax giveaway. Meanwhile, Democrats ran on rent control, childcare subsidies, and stopping ICE raids on small biz. So yeah, a 90-point swing isn't socialism. It's people choosing survival over sloganeering. Sorry your cult leader didn't warn you.
from 2024. In the villages up north, in a Senate race, you had a swing of 22 points to the left compared to 2024. A massive overperformance across the state of Florida tonight, a state that has been historically red over the past few election cycles. But if you look back, this was a toss-up state, and tonight's results mimic that of a toss-up. And if Florida's a toss-up, that does not spell positive signs for Republicans in 2026.
To every single Miami voter that showed up and showed out last night to help elect the city of Miami's first Democratic mayor in almost 30 years. In almost 30 years, that city has been ran by red. But you guys, y'all showed up and y'all showed out and you helped elect your first Democratic mayor in 30 years. And not just that, she is the first female to lead in the city's 129 history. The very first. Stand the fuck and pat yourself on the back because you did good. You did amazing. And it gets better. Who she defeated, who you guys helped. Her defeat was a candidate that was personally endorsed by Trump. Democratic candidate Elaine Higgins defeated Republican Emilio Gonzalez, who had been personally endorsed by President Donald Trump. GOP had a stronghold for 30 years in the city of Miami, for 30 years. And that finally broke. It finally broke this year. And this is exactly what the Trump administration, what the GOP, what the Republicans are all fearing. This blue wave that's taking over. These places that used to be GOP strongholds, they don't have that type of security anymore. The Republican Party does not have that type of security anymore. They are losing it. This is why the Republican Party are redrawing the maps. This is why the Supreme Court is allowing all of the gerrymandering that's coming from the Republican Party to continue. This is the reason why. Them 2026 midterm elections, oh baby, they need it. They need it bad. If they don't get it, it's over. And the way that Elaine Higgins was able to secure this win that also helped her make history by becoming Miami's very first female to lead the city in its entire 129 years of existence was by literally pushing for affordability. Affordability. Oh, and for the attacks on ICE to stop. Two things that we know that the Republican Party doesn't believe in. They don't believe in stopping the deportations and they don't believe in affordability. I mean, the president himself said it was a scam. It was a scam created by the Democrats. But how much of a scam can affordability really be if everybody here in America is complaining about the same thing? We're all complaining about the same thing.
Seriously? Affordability is a hoax? Bro, Miami's median home price is $685,000. The average nurse makes $78K. You do the math. Economically, housing isn't expensive because of liberals. It's expensive because Trump's tax bill supercharged Wall Street real estate funds, who now buy up entire neighborhoods like Monopoly tiles. MAGA voters screamed socialism, while their own towns got priced out by GOP-backed corporate landlords. Poetic or just tragic?
And this is why we know how 2026 is going to end. If it doesn't, we know for a fact it's rigged. Not just that. There's nobody in this earth, on this planet, that can convince me that Kamala was not supposed to win. Okay? Kamala was definitely supposed to win. I do still believe that everything happens for a reason, but she was supposed to win.
Well, well, well. It's Wednesday, baby. Let's start out with what's good in the brew today. A little bit of blue storm news, shall we? Yes, I guess you could say a blue hurricane hit Miami yesterday. Baby, for the first time in over 30 years, since the early 90s, dear, they elected a Democratic mayor in Miami. For the first time in their history, they chose a woman, baby. 30 years. Let's see, what was going down in Brokeback Mar-a-Lago about 30 years ago? I remember Daddy told us so. Yes, he said he told his aides when they were questioning him about those files that day that people just need to understand it was a different time, it was a different land. In Palm Beach in the 90s, I guess you could say, Daddy thought it was absolutely okay to put your hands on the underage. And after 30 years of letting the ultra-rich play with their children, dear, Miami came out yesterday to say, no way. Not today. We need a woman in charge of our city, dear. Somebody in the blue. We tried to tell you. The blue wave, the blue storm, the hurricane, the typhoon, the cyclone. It's here, dear, because I've got another story for you coming out of Missouri. Yes, indeed, Missouri. You remember the Ozark area of the United States where all those people gathered together to build their little city of white hate? Well, as of today, that little city of white hate has dispersed and went away because they found out they couldn't get a handout. I guess you could say welfare was not at play. Anyway, in Missouri, the people have come together because they had a few things they had to say about the Republicans and their gerrymandering play. You see, in the state of Missouri, they only needed 100,000 signatures on a petition for a referendum over that redistricting play. So the people got together, people over politics and organization, dear, and they started in Missouri with getting signatures there. They only needed 100,000, dear. You know how many signatures they acquired? 305,000. More than double what they needed. So today, there's a referendum at play about whether or not the Republicans will get their way with the gerrymandered map today. Yeah. The Republicans in Missouri, they tried to pull their stunt, but the people came out. They started to shout. And now even the Republicans in that state are worried today. They don't know what to do with their gerrymandering play.
This is how democracy actually works. While MAGA obsesses over ballot stuffing, real Americans gathered 305,000 signatures, more than triple what was needed to fight gerrymandering. Fair maps equal fair representation, which equals policies that serve Main Street, not Mar-a-Lago. When rural clinics close and school lunches shrink, people notice, and they organize. MAGA thought democracy was a spectator sport. Turns out, it's a team game, and they bench themselves.
And the blue wave. I just want to remind everybody of something that I told y'all 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago to be exact. I told you that big back, that big backbonesburg Biff was very unhappy indeed about his approval rating and everybody out in the streets, that it would not be long, probably 2 weeks, before he took to the road again to do a rally for his red hat friends. Now, I know you may think I like to be right, but I wish I was wrong, dear, when it comes to the orange one up there. But my record so far, well, somebody get me the crystal ball. Poor daddy. On tour again. Bless his heart. He's the only president in our history, ever, dear, that has had to go on a rally tour during his presidency because his approval ratings put him in fear. He is the only president in history that has to continue to tour the country for support after he was elected. That's how bad he is at being a president. I need y'all to understand it, okay, honey? He's the only president in history who campaigns through his presidency, honey. That's how bad of a president he is. He can't just sit in the White House and do his job because he sucks so bad. That's hilarious to me, honey. That's like winning a trophy and taking a victory lap over and over and over and over again to reaffirm to yourself that you won. So he's affirming to himself that he is president, I guess. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, baby. But either way, keep throwing your rallies today. It's not going to make your presidency better, dear. It's not going to boost the economy. It's just going to cost you money because we already know that quite a few of those in attendance are paid to be there. And by the way, some of them were interviewed after they attended the rally in Pennsylvania yesterday. Or wherever the hell it was, in PA. I'm sorry, it wasn't in Pennsylvania, it was in the Poconos. After his little rally in the Poconos, some people were interviewed, baby, and they did not have nice words about the orange turd. They left the rally scratching their heads because once again he said affordability is a hoax. And they were like, wait a minute. The last rally we came to before the vote, you said it was all about affordability. And now it's a hoax? This don't make sense to me. Anyway.
He promised $2 gas and chicken in every pot, then signed a budget that slashed SNAP, froze Medicaid, and handed oil execs offshore drilling permits. Now he's calling affordability a hoax, while his own voters stand in food lines. Just wow.
Let me go dig you up some more tea. I do fear it's not going to be good, though, dear.
Okay, so there was a mayoral election last night in Miami, and for the first time in 30 years, a Democrat won the mayoral election, a woman by the name of Eileen Higgins. And that's exciting on its own. But then when you dig into more about the demographics and what happened here, it's even more exciting for a couple of reasons. One, just a year ago, Vice President Harris won the city of Miami by 1 point. And the mayoral candidate won the city, Eileen Higgins, by 19 points. That's a big flip. That's more in the margins of how Joe Biden did in Miami back in 2020. Also, Miami, the city of Miami, is about 75% Latino. So this is quite telling about the loss Trump has experienced in the city of Miami, but we're also seeing this across the country as well. And also, Eileen Higgins talked about a lot of things. She talked about affordability. She talked about reducing chaos. She talked about making the city work, of course. But she also didn't hold back on immigration and the cruelty of the Trump policies and the cruelty of her opponents' policies as well. And that is all quite telling. A very interesting race this week.
The district that was previously backing Trump and was up by 12 points. The Republican Party was up by 12 points. They just flipped it blue. Oh, and the winner, Democrat Eric Gissler. Regular, degular old olive oil shop owner. He's a regular, degular American like you and I. And that's how he won. Because Eric is not a political climber. Okay? He's a Georgia native. All right. Former IT tech. He's an IT veteran. All right. And now he's the owner of an olive oil shop. This is a regular, degular American who understands what the Americans are going through, what the people in his district are going through, the issues, the challenges that they face.
Let that sink in. Georgia elected an olive oil shop owner over a Trump-endorsed culture warrior. Why? Because small biz owners know you can't run a shop on grievance alone. You need customers with disposable income, which requires living wages, healthcare, and stable supply chains. Trump's economy ran on borrowed time and billionaire favors. Now voters want leaders who balance books, not blow them up for clout.
This is what we call a candidate that's actually in touch. He's in touch. He knows exactly what's going on in his district. He knows exactly what's going on. He's feeling it himself. Therefore, he's one of the best people to advocate on how he can help better that district. And this is what we've been saying, us Americans, what we're calling for here in America. You voting actually helps reshape American government. We are able to get rid of these people who are clearly out of touch and get people who are in touch in these seats, in these offices, in these places to advocate for us. We already know the people that are in American government, they're already bought, which is why we're trying to replace them. And you can replace them by means of voting. You need to go out and vote. We have to vote. This blue wave is taking the nation of America by storm right now because people want change. We want affordability. I don't know what happened, but we want health care. You understand? Universal health care. We want child care. Okay. We want the housing market to be affordable. This is what America wants. And in order to get that, we have to elect the people that are actually going to advocate for that. Okay. Get these people that are in American government right now out, and let's elect people like Eric Gissler in.
Texas, we are doing great. We are right on schedule for this blue wave. Let me show you how. Yesterday, December 8th was the filing deadline, and now, December 9th, this is what we're looking at. Democrats are on the ballot for 38 out of 38 seats. For State Board of Education, Democrats are on the ballot for 8 out of 8 seats. For State Senate, Democrats are on 15 out of 15 seats. And for the State House, Democrats are on 150 out of 150 seats. Do you know what this means? This means that there is not a singular Republican running unopposed. For every Republican in the election, there will be a Democrat challenger. That is something to be proud of, y'all. This is a symbolic win. It's also structural. Filing someone in every race forces Republicans to defend their turf instead of coasting on uncontested seats, which a lot of them are used to doing. It stretches their resources, exposes their records, and creates opportunities where the pundits swear none exist. Texas is always going to stay red, is what they say.
This is the quiet revolution MAGA never saw coming. Democrats filing in every single race, even in deep red Texas counties. You don't win elections by praying for blue waves. You win by knocking on doors, registering voters, and showing up, even when it's hard. MAGA's been coasting on fear and Facebook ads. Meanwhile, Dems are building real political muscle, one precinct chair at a time.
Well, for a long time, a lot of Republicans were just running in a post. Not this time, Texas. Now I'm going to read this too, because this is also really important. If we really want to beat Republicans in Texas, we have to beat them at the precinct chair game. Filing candidates is great, but it's only the opening move. Precinct chairs are the ground troops of democracy, the people who actually knock doors, register voters, track down the missing Democrats in their neighborhood, build the muscle memory of turnout. Republicans understand this. They've understood it for decades. Democrats, however, we leave hundreds, sometimes thousands of seats vacant across the state. We let entire neighborhoods go unorganized. We cede territory before we ever step onto the field. And then every election cycle, we act shocked that the Republicans keep winning close races by a few hundred votes. Precinct chairs fill that gap. They're how you rebuild a party from the street level up. They're how you identify voters year-round, not just 6 weeks before Election Day. If Democrats want real power, we need precinct chairs in every precinct, urban, rural, suburban, coastal, panhandle, border, everywhere. We cannot out-message, out-fundraise, or out-organize the GOP while leaving half the chessboard empty. We should be proud of ourselves for our start. 329 days, y'all.
Time in 30 years.
Hey, Texas. Other 30-year records broken. We can get it done.
We have seen this happen before, and it always ends like this. Latino voters gave Trump a shot. Then he separated their families, called them grapists, and gutted DACA. Now, Miami, 75% Latino, just elected a Democrat by 19 points in a city Trump won by 1. Immigrants aren't taking jobs. They're starting 1 in 5 small businesses in America. When Trump attacks them, he attacks the very engine of local economies. And voters noticed. So there it is. MAGA thought loyalty was forever. But in America, your vote expires the moment your wallet empties. Miami chose affordability over anger. Georgia chose an olive oil shop over oligarchy. And across the country, voters are realizing patriotism isn't a hat. It's paying your neighbor's tab when they're down. If you're tired of being played for a fool, smash like, subscribe, and in the comments, what policy will finally wake up your MAGA uncle? Stay sharp, stay engaged, and remember, democracy isn't a spectator sport. It's your move.